and the world moved on, Conte once again returned to the old ways. And by that I mean he was back to training and consulting athletes. This time, he does it under the name SNAC, which stands for Scientific Nutrition for Advanced Conditioning, a company who supplies supplements to athletes along with workout regimens and advanced training techniques to help maximize performance. Does that sound familiar? Almost sounds like a story I've heard before. Yes, it sounds exactly like what Balco did, but this time it's without the steroids, and the edge comes from a technique called oxygen modulation. Basically comes down to fighters working out in the gym with these fancy mask intents. The mask supply less oxygen or more oxygen. For example, you can reduce the amount of oxygen you intake to simulate altitude training.
This enables you to train longer at a higher level of intensity.
Best of all, it's clean.
It's stable in the boxing world for conditioning gains, a method of training that Conte claims is stupid.
Generation was live high, train high. Well, that really is the worst for you.
Even though he mimics altitude training with his snazzy Rocky mask, these athletes come to Conte for an edge in training, but he's using methods Ivan Drago used in the Rocky movie, meaning the edge is gone, the methods and technology is old, from the 1980s, but I digress. At this time, I would like to remind you that Conte is not a sports scientist. He is not a doctor, even though he claims that Nike called him their doctor.
At Marion, we went to this hotel, we had this meeting. I explained to them, listen, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a PhD or an MD, but I can explain all this to you. One was an MD and the other was a PhD. And they talked to them to see if they could present this information. Well, we don't care, you're our doctor.
This guy gets it. Conte's biggest success came when he connected with Patrick Arnold. Conte never competed in sports other than high school. He never trained a champion from scratch. So I asked fighters, what edge does Conte provide? Is it his super high-tech fancy material? Is it his super high-tech fancy gym with the wall of shame and fancy plastic tents? He's got a bag, a ring, a bike, a tent, and even some weights, and even an oxygen mask. I mean, compared to the UFC, I'll let you be the judge. I wouldn't hold my breath while you look for a good answer. Life after Balco has been business as usual minus the cheating, Conte said. He's back to helping athletes. Patrick Arnold on the